If you are looking for that brand new sleaze metal style release, look no further than this review here, because we are going to be talking about Danger Zone.
Hey, Paul here from Paul Lydell's Scream Therapy, and you are watching the Crash Course Metal Show with Trevor Crash Knight.
All right, welcome to the Crash Course Metal Show. We are going to be talking about a brand new release. It came out a couple months ago in February of 2024, and that is going to be Danger Zone from Smoking Snakes.
Hell yeah.
I have come across Smoking Snakes, a buddy of mine. He actually messaged me about, I guess, 6 months ago. Can't remember how long ago it was. To do a reaction video to Smoking Snakes to the song Run for Your Life. And that is on the channel. I will put the link in the description below if you want to check that out. So I have been aware of Smoking Snakes here for just say a half a year. And when we did the reaction, I remember like shortly after they announced that Frontiers signed them to do an album. And I don't know how many albums or anything, but they announced it and we were quite excited because if you are a fan of like the sleaze metal style, like Spread Eagle, or something like Wasp in the 80s, you will certainly enjoy what Smoking Snakes has to offer here. But let us go through here the lineup, and we have here Brett on vocals, Andy on bass, Stan on drums, and then we also have Leo on guitars as well. With this album, though, like I said, everyone that I talk to that listens to this album, the first band that comes to their mind when in comparison to another band would be Wasp, and I totally get that. I probably would agree with that because with the vocals here from Brett, it is very Blackie Lawless style.
Hey, now you speak my language here.
But maybe with a little bit more of an edge, because there is with Blackie, there is some cleaner overall vocal to his Blackie style. But with Brett here, it's more on the edgier side, a little bit more rough and in your face, especially when you compare it to like the later 80s and on of Wasp. So Danger Zone here is very good. Like I said, especially if you're a fan of the Wasp, the Spread Eagles, the sleaze metal, like the stuff, from the very late 80s to early 90s, and even to some extent, early mid 90s. So, and also too, Europe is releasing great just producing great stuff. I don't know what they put in the water over there, but I wish it was in the water over here in the States, because it's we are seriously lacking. But overall, though, good production on this album, very good. So you do have 11 tracks here, but it's not a very long 11 tracks, because the longest song, and I think it's only one of them, and that is that they're shorter than 4 minutes. Only one track is longer than 4 minutes. So that, to me, that doesn't really for it being 11 tracks, it's not a long album per se. But yeah, you start off here with Angels Calling, right in your face. It's you know that right from the start that they're here not to mess around. They're here with an edge. They're here to prove a point. And that's another thing too. I think the band has said that they're not really here to reinvent the wheel, which is great, because I mean, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's great. We know the blueprint for the most part, how to make great metal, and especially when it comes to sleaze metal and like the hair metal type style and such like that. But they don't want to reinvent the wheel, but they want to add their own style, flavor to it, and their own edge to it. And you hear that in this album, Angels Calling, great opening track. Then you move on to track number 2, Soul Survivors, and then Track number 3 is the song that we did as a reaction and is a music video. They have a music video for Run for Your Life. The opening line is great. Hey, motherfucker, what are you doing in this town? You know,
Wait, I say motherfucker just like that. That's my thing.
Well, you're not the only one, motherfucker.
Motherfucker! Motherfucker!
Hey, little motherfucker, what do you do when you're my town? I got above the breaches.
it makes me laugh every time I hear it. Very awesome. It is one of the more in-your-face songs, and that's quite understandable why they chose that as one of the singles for this album. And then moving here to track number 4, Lady Lucky is okay. Nothing very, very memorable, I would say. And then track number 5, Excited, is fine. But I think where my standouts is 6 and 7. And that is Restless and Wild, and then the track number 7 is Sorrow, Death, and Pain. With Restless and Wild, I have to say, one of the first times I listened to this album, I took notice of this little detail, I think, at the end of the song, the very end. Like, the song's all fast and everything, and then at the end, everything kind of somewhat, like, comes to an end, but then you just hear, like, a bluesy style riff or just note or whatever on the guitar, and it just kind of leads you out like the last 8 seconds or whatever, which is really cool. I like that touch. That's another part of the sleaze metal, the later era hair metal and stuff like that is very bluesy stuff, which you don't hear, I would say, a whole lot of. I wouldn't consider this at all like a blues metal album or something like that, but like little touches like that I really appreciate and really good. But Restless and Wild, I probably at the moment, because when I first listened to this album too, this was probably the one that I was like, oh, I don't really care for this song. But the more I listened to this album and the song, it's probably one of my favorites on the album. So that was pretty cool. Like how I kind of did a 180 on it. Just that it really grew on me. But yeah, track number 7 is Sorrow, Death, and Pain. Another one, a really good guitar solo in this one here. But like there are good solos throughout this album. Which you kind of have to do if you're gonna have a sleaze style album. You need solos. I mean, that's for any hair metal or glam metal or sleaze or anything like that. You need solos. When you talk about metal, we need solos here. I don't know about all these other different subgenres that don't have guitar solos, which is mind blowing to me. Not to name any names, but I don't know how you can have a metal band and not do any solos. That, I don't know. Maybe you can explain that one to me. But very good. Smoking Snakes, there is no shortage of solos here on this album. But moving on here to track number 8, There Is No Tomorrow, which is fine. I dig it. Probably another one of those that I would put into the camp of Lady Lucky. Just okay. Sorry, not Lady Luck or Lady Lucky. It's Lady Luck. But I think the next track though here is Who Am I? Is if someone says to me, hey, why do you think they sound like Wasp? I would say, listen to this song, and that's why we use those comparisons as you could tell, Wasp is a big influence of theirs, and just the vocals is not very similar, but like, you could tell like, oh, hey, this reminds me of, something Blackie would do. And which is a good song. Who Am I? I dig that. So that's another one I one of my favorites on here. And then you got track number 10, We Are Alive. Uh, good. Another faster paced song, which is another point too. There is no like ballad, no slow song. And if I had to like put a negative somewhere, which there aren't many negatives at all on this album either, I would say there's no. No, I wouldn't say you need a ballad at all, because like a lot of sleaze albums, they didn't need ballads to be good. But I would say, for me personally, I would say just to break up just to break up the aggressiveness and just the quick, fast pace all the time. Maybe throw in something mid-tempo, slower tempo, ballad type style thing, and that would break up these 11 tracks of just like in your face, like, which, hey, I'm not complaining, because I'm just trying to find something, to critique this album, because this is a really good album, and I would say that's the only thing that I would think about changing. But I mean, like I said, that's just splitting hairs here at this point. And then you come on here to the final track, track 11, and that is Rockin' Into the Morning Light. And this is probably the most, I would say, ode to the 80s style type song, type chorus and such like that. Kind of gives me a little bit of like a Scorpions type feel to it. A little bit, I would say, different than, slightly different than the rest of the songs on the album, I would say. A little bit more melodic, I would say, than the other tracks here. Just going off memory here. But and that's another point here I wanted to make. Very cool artwork, or I guess not artwork, but just a front cover of this album, because that's another point. Some of these like metal albums, just throughout the years and such, like, you need to have a good cover to really try to explain to whoever's looking through these albums or looking at these pictures of albums to buy, to be like, oh, these guys look like me, or like the image that I want the music to portray off this album, and that is what this look gives off. So there's some kind of disconnect sometimes with some albums, and I think they nailed it there. This is a really cool album cover for Danger Zone, and I give them major props for that, because it's cool. It's a cool album cover, and it kind of reminds me slightly, maybe I'm a little biased, but it reminds me a little bit of Cinderella Night Songs, slightly, but more on the sleazier, edgier side of it. But I like this album. I was not very surprised, because I was expecting good things from this album, but I give it an easy 3.5, I would say, out of 5. And it has room to grow, because every time I listen to it, there's more things that I hear, as far as like guitar work and just little things that I hear that I enjoy and it brings out. And that's another thing too, because like sometimes I listen to these albums at work, and I only have one earbud in, and this is an album where I kind of get more out of it when I have it in either both ears, or like just on a stereo or something, and I hear everything the way it should be heard, instead of just in one ear, and you might be missing some parts. Because I know like Bang Tango's Psycho Cafe is very different when you only have one earbud in compared to having two. It's a different listening experience. And I kind of got a little bit on a couple of these songs. I got a little bit of a different, I got the same feel as, the Bang Tango album, when you only have one earbud in compared to two. So, but no, guys, Danger Zone. Let me know in the comments. Check it out. I would say, like I said, my favorite, check out either Restless and Wild, Sorrow, Death and Pain, and then also check out the single, the music video as well, Run for Your Life. Very good stuff there. But I will leave the description to this album, and also to their page and stuff like that, in the description below. So check it out if you guys are interested. But very cool. Hopefully we can have them on the show to talk about this brand new release and the future for them here in the next year or two. So, but this is very good because like I said, with Lips, with Smoking Snakes, very good start to the year, 2024, especially with Frontiers. Very good start to the year for Frontiers, and they keep releasing good stuff here since this and a little before this for 2024. And I quite excited to see what else these bands and also Frontiers has to offer for us. And it's hard. It's hard to imagine getting even better stuff. But hey, that's what we're here. That we want to see this grow. We want to see this style of metal come back, or even grow, and that'd be great. That's what we. That's one of the goals here on this channel, is to help push this style out a little bit more and give it the respect it deserves, because a lot of radio and just people in general don't give it the respect it deserves. It just go by the look, or not even. They just brush everything off. So yeah, and that wraps it up, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of Smoking Snakes Danger Zone. Very solid. But guys, that wraps it up here. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay out of that collateral damage, and we will see you guys later.
Yeah, I wrote that. It's called I Want to Rock Your Body. And then in parentheses it says to the break of dawn.